So let's zero in here on the Padres. And they can be one of those teams, Dan, because they have so much young talent. We've been waiting for that pitching to finally come. Could potentially happen, as NTT Ballpark Cam shows us. Chris Paddock, one of the reasons why Padres fans are excited about 2020.
He has the makings of being a front of the rotation guy. What is that? That's a guy that is a number one, a guy that can get you in a regular season somewhere between 180 to 210 innings. Big arm, aggressive guy. What I like about him, he's all business. He attacks hitters. He's not one of those guys that you just kind of. He's very much, if you watch his body language, he exudes a guy that's fairly confident in what he's doing.
And Danny, he's got some moxie, no doubt, too. I mean, away from the diamond. He was fun to watch. I know they shut him down second half of the season, but the first half of the season, he wasn't afraid of a microphone.
Yeah, he was going back and forth with Alonso, saying that he's going to win the Rookie of the Year. Alonso's 53 kind of put him in his place, but he had an outstanding year. And it's going to be interesting because I think most baseball people, and I will include us in that, think that the Padres are going to have a big season and that they have a chance to make it to the postseason.
And Paddock was shut down mid-September, so was in that conversation for Rookie of the Year before Alonso ran away with it. You also, Dan, like what's happening at the back end of their pitching.
I love their bullpen, and their bullpen is rock solid. Kirby Yates, he might be the most underappreciated, really good reliever. Think about this, Fran. He was 41 for 44 in save-ops. Blew 3 all season long. Tremendous split finger, but they have a lot of depth in that bullpen, and that's what I like about him. That guy right there, Drew Pomeranz from the left side. 2 strong months with the Brewers, was able to get himself over a $30 million contract with the Padres. A team that's deep, a team that's young, and top to bottom, they might have more pitching depth and prospects than anybody in baseball. If that bullpen, if Yates and Pomeranz are what they expect them to be, the Padres could be in it. I don't think the Dodgers are worried about losing the division, but the Padres could make a run for a wild card.
And obviously the game run is getting a lot younger, and there are some really good young players in the game. But then there are just, a couple of guys that stand above who are just electric.
Tatis Jr. has a chance to be the best player in the game at some point in his career. You don't throw those words around idly. I mean, that's how good he is. He only played, 79 or 80 games last year. So wait till you see him play, even though it's 60, maybe hopefully the full season. But, one of the small keys, the last couple of years, they paid Will Myers a lot of money.
Yep.
And they've spent a lot of time talking about how to trade him, how to move him along, because he doesn't really have a position with the Padres. But with the new rule and the DH, now you got Myers some at-bats, and maybe he can be productive this year.
All right, and we zero in now on Manny Machado in this inter-squad game. And Manny, look, a couple years ago, big buzz, $300 million over 10 years. And last year was his first year in a Padres uniform. Is this the year, and again, I know it's a shortened season, Dan, but is this the year where Manny kind of settles down in San Diego? He's got Tatis Jr. because now he knows, they know what he can bring, where Manny kind of takes on that full leadership role. And then maybe we get to see him being back to the player we saw in Baltimore.
He's a very talented player. There really isn't anything he can do. For a big guy, he's a great defender at third base, has a strong arm, hits for power, can hit for average, he can run the bases. He can do a lot of things. I think the best baseball for Manny Machado is ahead of him.
Right.
I really do. And I think as the Padres get better, I think he's going to be better. But it's hard. This game of baseball is a crazy game. You sign that big contract like he did, and if you don't have the parts around you, and you're that one guy in an island in that lineup, but if Tatis stays healthy, all of a sudden that lineup starts to get a little bit deeper. It starts to get a little bit longer, and this guy's going to be right in the middle of it.
Yeah, Tommy Pham as well, that eventually will be on the field in this team too.
Pham is the biggest acquisition they got this winter. I think Pham is a serious player. He's a talented player, but he also brings a toughness and an edge. And I don't think that can hurt the Padres. I think, a Grisham they got from the Brewers, he's going to help them. I think everywhere you look, Austin Hedges or Mejia catching, they just have, everywhere they go, they've got players on the rise, ready to go, and maybe ready to get back in the postseason.
Totally with you on Pham. I mean,
Yeah.
that guy grinds. He works.
That's right.
He works hard, and he's going to instill that kind of work ethic, I think, in some of the guys there, show them what it's like to be a professional ball player.